I would like to welcome you to the presentation Using Low-Code BPM Platforms to Accelerate Digital Transformation. Let me introduce myself. I'm Carsten Neumann, Senior Vice President, Enterprise Solutions at Ultimus. I'm the leader of Ultimus Solution Business globally. So we all know that digital is transforming today's business landscape, and digital transformation is essential in today's world. And there's an urgent need to deliver applications more quickly, as success very often depends on the speed of software delivery. But the challenge is that this has to be achieved while the requirements are becoming more complex than ever. What we see is that traditional approaches to process automation have struggled to meet the challenges of speed and complexity, and this has driven the growth of the new low-code BPM category. And while we've talked about the need to develop quickly, we at Ultimus believe that we also have to consider cost, quality, and of course, the ability to manage the software that we create. In order to truly address all of these challenges, we need something very different. A completely new and disruptive way of thinking, a new way of creating software. In order to meet the challenges of digital transformation, we need to transform application development and delivery. And the way to do that is to industrialize software development. So what do I mean by industrializing software development, and why is it essential for digital transformation? Let's think about the Industrial Revolution. Before the Industrial Revolution, everything was handcrafted. Have a look at this guy. He's building everything by hand, every single piece. This process is expensive, it's slow, error-prone, and this is what still happens today with software. And this is how Ultimus sees what most vendors trying to do in the low-code BPM space. In the early stages of the Industrial Revolution, we had water power and then steam engines. They increased productivity, which was a great deal, but we were still building the same things over and over in an error-prone way. And the progress quickly reached an unmovable boundary, a limit in terms of what was possible in product, speed, cost, and quality. It wasn't until the final stage of the industrialization, factories that used automated assembly, that order of magnitude improvements in cost, speed, and quality were attained. And that is why BMW can produce thousands and thousands of cars a week, each slightly different. And I think you would agree that there is no customer complaining about any limitation in variations while configuring a BMW. And that is why all too frequently we spend millions and years to develop software that looks like this, instead of like that nice BMW. So for decades, software engineers have sought out the holy grail of industrialization, of a factory that would generate software from requirements, where you could describe what you need your software to do, and all the implementation details and complexity would be taken care of. And this automatically. I'm sure you all have heard about these approaches of generative development, software factories, or software product lines. But this nirvana for software development has been blocked by the conventional wisdom that every software application is unique. That may have been true in the 1960s or in the 1980s or even 2000. But we've been building business software for a long time now. And in our case, Ultimus has implemented over 1,400 automated process software applications. And just like the car companies understand what people want and how to build it really well, we felt that Ultimus ought to be able to do the same. So here's a sampling of the over 1,400 human-centric BPM solutions Ultimus has built. These solutions are very different. They have different specific names, different industries. But when you've built something hundreds of times, you discover that perhaps things aren't all that unique. And there's no longer the need for a tool that allows you to recreate the wheel faster and faster. Instead, you can get smart, apply modern industrial engineering principles. So let me show what I mean. Each one of these solutions, well, over 90% of the human-centric BPM solutions have a requester, a person or a company that wants something. Could be a customer who wants to address a complaint, someone requesting a loan, or a company requesting a building permit. They all have a product or service that is requested, like the mentioned complaint, loan, building permit, or an expense report or a defect that has to be reported. They are all supported by documents, an ID card for the loan, a photo showing the reason for a complaint, or an expense receipt. They need to be validated and approved based on business rules, policies, and regulations. And they need to be routed through a workflow. And there's a history, so you know who did what when. Now, before I show you Compost Process Solution, that's our name for this new industrial approach to low-code BPM, let me point out something. Think about how many demos you have seen of people building things, dragging and dropping, right-clicking, entering some character strings, publishing. Notice that I do not show that. I show you the result of Compost Process Solutions. And that's because in an industrial approach, you specify what you want. Like I want a 4-wheel drive with a big engine, leather seats, things like that. And all the details and complexity of how the actual building of the application is done for you. You will just have to provide your business requirements. In an industrial approach, everything else will be generated automatically. We'll have a webinar to explain how we do this. But for now, let me show you that the holy grail of software development is possible and what it looks like. Therefore, let me switch to our CPS portal. And here it is. So now let's go to the first solution, which is an employee onboarding solution. So the similarities of each solution is here on top. You see the requester, an employee, services, documents, decisions, process, and history. So in this specific solution, the employee, the requester, is the one who's onboarding into the company, and you'll find all the employee information and contact information. Here you see the services, all details about what is needed when the person is onboarding to this company. You have the documents like the employment contract or a social security card. And you have the decisions, the business rules which are there for this process. And you have the process and the history. So now let's move to a very different solution. Let's take the legal case management. And here it is, produced by CPS. You can see the same look and feel. There's also the requester, in this case, the customer, the details, all the details about the legal case, our service, the documents, the decisions, a process, which is shown right here. So you can see all the process steps and the status of the steps. And you have a history. So you can see in detail, what happened in this process. So it's the same look and feel, and there's no reinventing design and reinventing things that you have already done. It's all the same functionality. But once again, let me demonstrate what industrial BPM really means. When you want to buy a BMW in a sport version, you do not have to take care about the appropriate brakes or the suspension system. The system configures and assembles this automatically. And now let me show what this means for us using a simple example. An example of a business requirement is for every expense line in an expense report, a receipt is required. So let me show this to you. Let's go to our expense report solution. And there you find our employee Joshua Walker. He already filled in his details about his business trip. And let's go to the service tab. Now you see the airline ticket is already there. Add a new item. So what we're doing is there's a new item, maybe for the 17th. There was a hotel. And the amount was, well, let's take this. It was in euro. And the expense type is a hotel. So now let's go to the decisions. Here we are. And you see there's a document missing. Let's go to the missing document. Well, for sure, it's the receipt for the hotel. We didn't upload it so far, but let's do it now. Let's take the hotel invoice, upload it to the expense line, and you see it's there. And when you go back to the decisions, you know the violation is gone. Now you are able to submit the expense report. So my solution development effort is reduced to 0. When there is a new expense line, a receipt is mandatory. That's it. All of the other details are taken care of. You have just to define your requirement, and everything else is generated by CPS based on standardized pre-tested capabilities with built-in solution logic and business relevance. You don't build or program those notions. Now let me show you some additional examples of what you get for free without programming. That's about using CPS on a mobile device and the language capabilities. In order to use your time efficiently, I will play a short video rather than click around and switch between various screens. So let's have a look at the video. Now you see the same expense report. And what you will see now is that the same expense report application looks exactly the same on an iPhone. And here it is. Everything works the same. That's because with our CPS approach, it is the same. There's no extra work required for mobile. Mobile is not a requirement that you have to specify and then reverse engineer into your software. It's a must, and we take care of it without a developer having to build it. So as you can see, the missing receipt now is captured and will be uploaded to your application. And in the next step, as I said before, we have different options, with the languages, which is another powerful example for an industrial approach. Very often when processes cross people and departments, they cross geographies and of course languages. So you have seen the same expense report solution. Now it's in Arabic, and it's even displayed right to left, because we know that language and direction are important variables, and we build that in. So with CPS, all you need is to declare that Arabic or Spanish or German are languages you need. You might have to translate a few specific strings, but that's something you do once, and it's carried forward everywhere that string applies. So we are separating the content, the what from the how, the content from language and device dependency. So let me summarize. The beauty of CPS, or an industrial approach, is that declaring the business requirements of a solution and having it generated automatically is the ultimate in speed and quality. Just like in our example, the requirement is to add a receipt for each expense line. That's all. There's no need to write long and complex technical specifications. So from our point of view, it eliminates that upper limit of what you can achieve with tools that just make handcrafting more efficient. And this speed and quality translate into lower software costs and directly into accelerating digital transformation. So thank you very much for listening to that point. So in conclusion, low-code BPM platforms are extremely popular because they speed up the delivery of software that accelerates digital transformation, innovation, and improved customer experience. We believe our unique approach to low-code software development, composed process solutions, moves the boundary of what is possible in terms of software speed of delivery, quality and manageability, and of course costs. Because with CPS, we no longer build individual solutions. They are generated from business requirements. So if you would like to see composed process solutions applied to your business need, you can contact me or go through our website and register for a proof of concept. It's very fast, and of course it's free. So if you can give us an hour of your time to understand your requirements, we will use CPS to build your solution the next day and demo it to you the day after, or whenever it is convenient for you. A few lucky customers have been able to use these CPS proof of concepts in production on our cloud platform. I can't promise that for every solution, but we are very excited to show what is possible nonetheless. So the presentation is, as you have seen, on our server. We thank you very much for watching this, and thanks to all of you, and goodbye.